E16 presents.
Hey everybody, welcome to a new thing. We're not quite sure what it is yet, but it's a new thing and it's exciting, and I'm very pleased to be able to say welcome to the Lighting Lounge.
Woo!
Yeah,
That was a little over enthusiastic, wasn't it?
A little, no. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the voice of my co-conspirator. Is that a good title?
What are we going to get up to on this show?
We could be founders. My co-founder, John
Excellent.
Whitmore. Hey, John, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm all good, thank you, Ade. This is exciting and undetermined.
Yes. Oh, I should have introduced myself, I suppose. Shouldn't I? Yes. Hi, my name's Ade.
Hi, Ade.
You may know me from podcasts such as Sunny 16 or The Future of Photography.
Episodes 1, 2. What? Right, you're back on Sunny 16 now, aren't you? So, what episode are we on that? 200 and
230 something, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I did have probably 9 months off through 2020. I got into the point, we'd done it for many years, and it got to the point where I needed a bit of a break for it. But do you know what? I tell you what, I went away and it got better.
Did it? I like Graham got Claire involved, and then got myself involved, and I think maybe we've burnt it down to the ground a bit. So it's great to have you back involved to start the phoenix from the flames.
Oh well, okay. Well, let's go with that. Thank you. You're too kind. I was thinking over the as we record this, which is now coming up to the middle of February. Actually, I was thinking over the winter holiday period, I'd really love to get back in touch with the Sunny 16 boys and girls, and just be a bit part of that again. I felt I was ready for it, so I was very grateful you indulged me my long sabbatical. But we're back, and then you and I got talking about lighting.
Yes, a much lack of experience in lighting. Of course, in this day and age, everything is done via video, so we're lit. Both Ade and myself have had to set up lighting in front of our cameras for what we were doing, and then that led on to a conversation about lighting in photography.
Yeah, everybody in the world is now a video calling. Well, I don't know whether you're an expert and you own it, or whether you're just a victim of having to spend your lives on video calls, which is what's happened to a lot of us. Certainly, I now spend 5 hours a day, probably Monday to Friday, on video calls, which has not been a feature of my own professional life before. And I have to admit, one of my coping mechanisms for that is to indulge my hobby of photography, and particularly lighting. And it's quite rewarding as well, because people have really low expectations for video calls, because a lot of people are silhouettes, and they're using the cameras built into their laptop screens, and I pitch up with a reasonable quality HD signal, and I'm lit and stuff like that, and everybody goes, "Oh wow, what do you do? You look different from the rest of us."
Where did you get your makeup from, Ade?
Yeah. Yes, it takes a whole army of makeup and hair people to make me look this good.
But no, actually, it's all just a trick of the lighting, is it?
Yes. Which is where our conversation went, actually, wasn't it? Yeah, because there's tons. I mean, I've been mucking around with lights for years, and that sometimes that's flashlights, so speed lights and things like that, which with both digital cameras, which and then of course with film cameras as well. Slightly more technique involved in film cameras, but we can talk about that as we go through this podcast, maybe. And even I feel I've got a huge amount to learn. That sounds terrible, isn't it? Sorry.
Even you can learn something new about lighting.
Sorry, that really came across wrong. Especially me. has a lot to learn about lighting. There's just so much of it out there, and you and I got talking, John, and we thought let's do that. Let's do something on lighting. So here we
Yeah,
are,
yeah,
the
definitely.
Lighting Lounge.
And like part of that is to bring in other people along with our journey. I hate that phrase. The journey that we're about to go on with regards to lighting. I'm in quite a similar position. I've experimented with lighting. I've done a few professional shoots with lighting, even though I don't have much experience with them. And I really kind of want to up my game. So it's something that I can utilize more and be more confident with, rather than shying away from that sort of work. And I just like having fun and experimenting with things as well. So, but it'd be great, it'd be great to get other people's views on like what they struggle with, any hints and tips and stuff like that, really.
Yeah, I'm certainly hoping this becomes a broader conversation. Definitely. I mean, you and I have got plenty to talk about. I am sure. Maybe that's I don't know. Some of the let's tell everybody some of the ideas we've been kicking around. I mean, what
We've
would
got
it be
ideas.
like? We got yes, we have. We got ideas. We've got like a little Google Drive.
Very true.
Thing.
You set up a
folder.
Google Drive, and I've looked over it very briefly. That's
Yeah.
that's the reality of it.
Don't tell them what's behind the curtain. It's a show, darling.
Oh right,
Show.
okay. Production.
So, what if we spent a little bit of time on a podcast, audio and video podcast, talking about the work of some photographers whose lighting we really like, an artistic appreciation discussion around lighting. What if we talk about how Fan Ho made all those photos of 1950s Hong Kong? Or something like that, or how today fashion photographers work, or whatever, and study some of the work. I think that definitely some of the work I see out there, it can be really quite inspiring from a lighting point of view.
Yeah.
Or what if we talk about toys, because toys are always good fun as well, aren't they? Lights that we use, lights that we'd like to use. Lights that I have collected over the years that are lying around my house, in the same way that Graham has cameras lying around his house
that never get used.
maybe not in quite the same way, maybe not quite to the same scale, same idea, slightly less scaled down from what Graham's got in terms of cameras.
I think that could be quite a good place to start, actually, is equipment. It's like it's an easy thing to start with in terminology. It's like what's the difference between a flash and a strobe? I hear people use the word strobe over flash. It's the same thing as far as I can tell. Is one just saying, yeah, I'm a professional, so I use strobes, and the other one is my flash is attached to my compact camera. So I don't these are things that I think need exploring and answering for everybody.
Yes, yeah, definitely a bit of jargon busting to do, because they can be quite and it's sometimes it's different culturally as well. Like even between English speaking countries, people can have just different terms for these things. So so we'll try and do a bit of jargon busting, bit of understanding. I'm looking forward to. I think we should set ourselves some challenges at some point.
Oh yeah, definitely, yeah.
That's always good to get the creative juices flowing. I find I work far better to a deadline to have to achieve something than I do when it's just all open-ended and I can get away with not delivering anything.
Yeah, well, and if so somebody on the receiving end of that, it's kind of its motivation to do it, isn't it? If we're going to be showing people on the internet, like hopefully people will want to see the fruits of our labor and the mistakes that we make along the way.
Yeah, well, I mean, yes, I have a whole archive full of mistakes in lighting that I've made along the way. So maybe we can dig out some of those as well and talk about some of that stuff. What went well, what didn't. That's sort of how I got the shot, kind of thing.
Yeah,
I know it's all up for grabs, really, isn't it? I think it's definitely a bit of suck it and see what takes our fancy, what people will respond to. As you said there, really keen to hear from anybody out there listening to this, which is, as this is probably going to go out as show 0, because we're just having a chat rather than prepared a whole bunch of stuff.
Can we have a show -1? Is that allowed?
Yeah, we can build up to show 0.
Yeah. Not quite ready for that yet. Let's start at -10. That's a safer bet, isn't it?
Yeah, probably. Yeah,
bit of breathing room.
Yeah. So yeah, it'd be interesting. So if anybody does listen to this, which should be quite a feat of extraordinariness in its own right, then we'd be glad to hear back from anybody. Get in touch. Actually, do we have a get in touch yet? Is that actually even technically feasible?
I need to check. I think the email will be sunny16presents@gmail.com. But
Well,
we will
there's a good
put that in the show notes just in case.
show notes. Oh,
The
crap.
old show notes.
Show notes. So there we go. Yeah, Sunny 16 presents. Okay, so that's a good, I mean, that's a good segue to talk about the channel this goes out on, isn't it? So, you and I, as already mentioned a few minutes ago, members of the Sunny 16 podcast team, and Sunny 16 has two channels. It has a main channel just known as the Sunny 16 podcast, and it has Sunny 16 presents, which is our place for experiments, for ad hoc stuff, for guests to come and have a play. And we thought this actually is a good place for us to start, I think, because we'll get a bit of leverage from the Sunny 16 community, which is an amazing community, always has been an amazing community, and a bit of a safe place to start, and a few people might already be subscribed to the feed.
I have just checked quickly. It is sunny16presents@gmail.com. So.
Okay.
But yeah,
okay,
it's a good place to be for this as guests on our own podcast, I guess. If that makes sense.
Yes, 7 years ago, when Graham and I founded the media empire that is Sunny 16.
The publishing empire. You could start a new UK TV channel, news channel, couldn't you?
Yes, who knew there'd ever be a BBC Two, right? So no, yes, I hadn't thought about that. They're technically we're guests on our own channel now.
Yeah.
we better prove we're worthy of it then, hadn't we? I suppose.
It's nice that there are other guests on that channel as well. It's not just another channel of Sunny 16.
That's true, because we've got some amazing stuff. I mean, Claire's been doing some great podcasts, hasn't she, on film, movie films, with some great guests, and then there's I Dream of Cameras as well, which is Gabe and Jeff. See, now we were talking to them last night. Yes. And I'm now going to stumble over their names forever. Graham swapped the initial letters of their names, and it got stuck in my brain. And it's going to be impossible for me to. I'm going to have to practice it. Yes, Jeff and Gabe, Jeff and Gabe.
You'll wake up in the middle of the night in cold sweats, just saying their names.
Yeah,
it's going to be a bit worrying.
So, and all sorts of other stuff as well on Sunny 16 Presents. So, for those of you already subscribed, thank you. We will endeavour to keep up both the interest levels and the quality of the content that has so far looked Sunny 16 Presents.
Can't guarantee that at all, but
no.
We'll try.
And of course, John, you and I have made some production decisions as well, haven't we, about this little thing called the Lighting Lounge that we haven't quite defined yet. Because this is going to be video too. So, we're going to have things to show you. We'll always endeavour to make it accessible and understandable on an audio only platform. But there are going to be some things that are going to be visual. So looking forward to that. Not quite sure we've got all of the details of that ironed out yet, how it is that we serve both communities. But
it's the best. That's the best way to do it, I think. We'll feed it out as we go along. I think it's impossible to just describe certain things, isn't it, via audio? You need a visual reference, particularly when it comes, like, if we're going to break down scenes regards lighting. It would take hours to sit there and go, there's a light in the top right hand corner at 30 degrees pointing down towards the face, where a photo with an arrow on describes that immediately. So
yes, absolutely, yes. That's a very good point. So you've just sparked a memory of a corporate day I did about 5 years ago or so, and they did one of those team building games where they split you into two groups and give you walkie talkies, and then you have to move apart, and one part of the team has to describe a picture and the other team has to draw it based upon the description.
Right. Yeah.
So I was there was about 4 of us, and I was in the describing team. So we walked our regimented distance away and turned over our picture that we had to describe. And I thought, oh, okay. So and the people I was with looked at it and sort of squinted and didn't really. It was like, what's that? So I said, well, tell it, let me have a go. So I picked up the thing and I said, okay, everybody, what we've got here is an electrical circuit diagram, triangles, squares, square corners on the wires, resistors, that sort of thing. And hardly anybody at the receiving end knew what a circuit diagram was.
Oh, no.
So, and I confess I had a little chuckle at the millennials at that point, because the people at the describing end were much younger than me, I try not to pick on millennials. I think they get a fairly hard time, and they're all grown-ups now anyway, aren't they?
Maybe it's something of an age, isn't it, that you would come across frequently, like back in the day. But you probably got if you bought a new TV, you'd probably have one in the manual, wouldn't you? Like in the 80s, just in case,
Yeah. I did study at a very basic level. I did study electronics at school and physics to an A level for what that means to people listening. But yes, I confess I was a little bit surprised that people couldn't recognize a basic circuit diagram. Anyway, what were we talking about? Oh yeah, so
how would you describe that on a podcast?
As you say, well, so that's the thing, isn't it? Exactly. How do you describe that audio only? I mean, that day I was able to say, okay, the big picture here is that it's a circuit diagram, and luckily there was one person at the other end that knew what a circuit diagram was, so we could go from there. Difficult to do that with photographs.
Mm-hmm.
And to describe lighting setup. So there is going to be a visual element. We'll find a way for making sure those photographs are available to listeners only. Maybe we'll have a shared photo album somewhere.
Yeah, that could work.
Or maybe we'll find a way of embedding if it's a single image, embedding it into the show notes somehow, or to the show icon or something like that. So we'll figure some of this stuff out. But all of that to come, eh?
Yeah, can't wait. Can we automate it somehow? That's what I'm interested in.
Yes, but I'm sure we'll be able to do something. We'll figure
just
it out.
Embed the YouTube video in the show notes for the podcast.
Yes, that and absolutely. And as we should be doing with our Discord as well, because of course there's another place to have a longer form conversation and on the socials is the Sunny 16 Discord server. Which is quite good fun, actually. I quite enjoying hanging out there.
We could set up a channel in that for people to discuss this specific podcast, couldn't we?
That's a good point. We could do that. Yes, we could have the Lighting Lounge channel in the Sunny 16 Discord. That sounds like a fun place to hang out. I think I'll enjoy doing that. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, well, I'll let you hang out there.
Fair enough, Mr. Grumpy Pants.
No, I'm trying to step back. Well, I have been stepping back from kind of like social media and online platforms and stuff, because it's just too much. But I actually do drop into the Discord server because it's more manageable compared to like going on Twitter, where it's just this onslaught of information and conversation. So at least on Discord, it's really focused, and I think because there is a smaller number there, it feels like a lounge environment where you're just hanging out with a few mates at a time.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm a bit like you, actually. I don't do Facebook. I don't do Instagram. I do a little bit on Twitter, but really just to keep in touch with a few friends rather than because I'm particularly active on Twitter. So I don't expect this podcast to blow up on the social media.
Facebook sensations.
Yeah. So
who uses Facebook anymore?
Slightly lower volume, but massively higher quality conversation. Yeah, I'd be very happy with that. Hang out in the Lighting Lounge, having good quality conversations about stuff we're all interested in. That's a good ambition, isn't it?
That's a great tagline as well. So I think on that note, we can wrap up this -10 episode.
Oh, come on, mate! Don't do yourself down now. This is definitely the show zero. We're straight into the real stuff from here on out. Yeah,
we'll be
fine.
Excellent.
We'll wing it. It'll be fine. Don't worry about it.
Right, well, on that note then, don't forget to drop us an email on, what did I say? It was sunny16presents@gmail.com. And
Yes.
we'll be back, hopefully, fairly soon with our first episode.
That certainly is our intent. Let's see how it works out.
Excellent.
Okay.
We need to pick some music and stuff for this as well, don't we? We haven't cracked any of this.
No, but there'll be some music in just a moment. We don't know what it is, so I'm not going to sign out with, and we all play you out with, because we don't know what it is yet. But there'll be some music.
It'll be jazz. I assume it's going to be some sort of jazz.
Oh, lounge music, you mean, for the lighting. Yeah, lounge music. I could go with lounge music. Yeah, something smooth.
Nice.
Nice, yeah. All right, take care, everybody. We will be back soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.